Hey guys, what's up? GarageKing here. If you have a 2008 to 2016 Chevy Cruze and you got a P0106 code or especially a P0171, those are the ones to worry about. You most likely have a bad PCV valve. It's located in the valve cover and it's going to make your car sound like it's whistling and doing all weird types of things, including idling really weird. Let's take a listen. Okay, so let's pop the top of the engine off and you'll be able to see the PCV valve. But let's run the engine and take a listen. So this is a little culprit that causes a problem. Look at the little hole there. You can see that causes a problem and you got to replace the whole valve cover just to fix it. So you know what? Let's get to it and let's fix this car. Okay, so first we're going to pop off the cover on top of the valve cover, just like so. And then you can see we have two Torx bolts on top as well as a little connector that goes to the coil. Now this electrical connector, someone has broken. I'll zoom in. So someone's obviously had this apart before. It's been broken. And once we can just pull this piece out here, not a big deal. Then what we'll do is we'll get our Torx. I just use a little quarter drive. It's a T30 and there's only the two bolts. And we can just take those out by hand, nice and easy, just like so.
We're going to come and look for the green flag. They can't shoot until they hit the cone. 100 laps until the cone.
Okay, and I noticed once I got the coil out, it's actually quite dirty. There's a ton of dust. Okay, so now we're going to just go around the engine and we're just going to pull out the wiring harness. It's just kind of tucked in. There's some little clips. So we're just going to pull it out. We might need to take a little screwdriver here and there just to unpop some clips there. You can see me undoing one clip at the top. So quite easy. We just lift everything out and we want to make sure that this wiring harness is clear so we'll be able to remove the valve cover after taking out all the bolts. There we go. There we go, just like that. Okay, and if you can see, if you look down where I'm pointing, that's where the actual PCV, I guess gases if you want to call them, they come up there through the engine block and into the valve cover where they should be dripping out and not going into your air intake system. It's just unfortunate when the PCV fails. Okay, so now we're just going to zoom in and we're going to clean the engine block here. We want to make sure that all our mating surfaces are clean for the new gaskets, and then I'll show you where we're going to have to put some more silicone. And there you go, you can see me jittering the camera around, sorry about that. We got a good view there, so let's speed it up and we will do our cleaning. Wow, if only we can clean that fast in real life. That was about 60 times speed on the video. You can see it's nice and clean. You can see right there, we're going to make sure we put some silicone just so we have a good sealing surface there where the engine block connects. And you can see there's another break in the engine block right there. I shouldn't say break, it's just where the timing cover goes. So we need to have silicone in those two places or else our rocker cover is going to leak. So let's put our silicone on and then install our rocker cover. Okay, so now as promised, just going to show you, we're just going to put a little bit of silicone, a little dab on each side there, just where the timing cover meets the engine block. We want to make sure we get a nice bead on both sides or else we may have a leak there, and the last thing we want to do is be pulling it all apart to do the job again. So any excess, it's not a big deal. All you have to do is take your finger and just smear it so it's fairly flat and you just get a little bit of a bead there. That's all you need. You don't really need too much. Okay, so now let's center this rocker cover. We want to make sure that all the bolts drop into place. This one comes with all the bolts. We're going to start them all by hand, and then what we'll do after that is we will torque it. So let's speed up the video. Okay, so once you have all the bolts tightened down by hand, and it's time to torque them down. Torque specs for these are 71 inch-pounds, which is the same as 8 Newton-meters, which is the same as about 6 foot-pounds. So that is how tight all these bolts got to go. One thing I should mention, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, is you should use compressed air just to blow out all of the bolt holes. I use compressed air and I blow out all the bolt holes because if you have any type of oil or anything left in the thread holes where the bolt goes, oil doesn't compress and you will strip the bolt and damage them. So just make sure that the bolt holes are all clean. Okay, and now it is time to put the coil back in. We got our valve cover all torqued down, so I'm just putting a little bit of dielectric grease right now. It repels against moisture and helps with corrosion, so dielectric grease is always a good thing if you have some handy. What we're going to do is we're just going to start our bolts by hand. You can see me starting them by hand right now. You don't want to just drive them in with an impact gun or with a wrench right away because you might cross thread them. So I just try to make sure that they're started by hand. And once they're started by hand, I will take the ratchet and then I will just tighten them down and snug them up. Okay, and once that's done, you're going to see I'm going to just connect the electrical connector here, and someone prior did actually break the connector. The connector was broken, the clip, so whoever was in here before was a little too rough and broke it. That's not good. But anyway, we'll push it on and hopefully it will stay on and it will be okay. If not, we'll have to find a way to secure it somehow. Okay, and now it's time just to do the easy part. Let's put all the wires back, make sure that all our wiring loom is where it's supposed to go. Here you can see I'm giving you a little bit better shot here. You got to make sure on the side there's a little sort of divot piece in there where it looks like a little bit of vacuum pipe underneath goes. Make sure you get that right. Make sure all your clips are good. So once that is all good, what we're going to do is we're going to start it up and we're going to test it and make sure that we have no leaks. Now that our repair is done, what we're going to do now is we're just going to go into our scanner and we are going to clear the engine codes that our leaky PCV valve set. What we'll do is we'll start the car quick. Let's make sure there's no lights, and there is no lights we don't want to see. And we can see we have a system pass. So there you go. That is great, system pass. Okay, so we're back at my bench and here's the valve cover. Here might be the most fun part of this episode. We're going to, I guess, destroy this, try to take it apart and see how the PCV valve actually works. So for any of you that want to stick around for that, that's great. But what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to cut in and show what tools I used for those that don't want to stick around to see me destroy this, this valve cover. What tools did I use for the job? Okay, I used a little screwdriver. I used a Torx to take out the coil. I think it's a T30 if I'm not mistaken. Yep, T30 Torx, take it out. And then I used an E10. So there you go, E10 socket for the rocker cover. So that's what I used with my ratchet little extension. That's all the tools that were required. Okay, so now that we got the tools out of the way, we got the most fun part coming up. So let's take a look at this PCV valve inside the valve cover and let's see how it actually works. Now I don't know how we're going to get it apart, so we're going to try a couple tools here. You can see here with the screwdriver I'm not doing so well and it looks like I'm losing the battle. So we're going to try a couple tools and you'll see what works in the end. Alright, so first let's try some pliers, some channel locks. Those didn't work, so let's get a bigger pair. So now I got my big pair in there. And as you can see, I'm still losing the battle, maybe a little confused. Try with the screwdriver. Doesn't seem to want to do anything. So almost out of luck, but then I thought, hey, let's get the air hammer and let's see what this air hammer can do. Set it up nicely, slow-mo there, and there we go. Air hammer takes it off. So there we can see the black cap is off now, and we can actually see what's underneath. And it's just a little rubber membrane, orange membrane. That's it. There's a little bit of a spring, so kind of like a diaphragm, I guess you could call it. And then when we look underneath, we're looking for any type of damage, and if we zoom in and see, you can see the little hole right there where my thumb is right there. So you can see there is an actual, there is a tear in it. So that's what was whistling, that's what was causing all of our problems. So that's pretty much it. Let's take another look at this faulty part. There you can see the hole in our Chevy Cruze turbo. That's what was causing the whistling, folks. Until next time, GarageKing over and out.